Welcome back, Canaries. Today's interview is with Jessica Melhus. She is the creator of SonMade Herbals, and she's going to talk about some of her products today. And so, welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, please tell us about your passion for healthy living and how you got started with all this.
Yeah, so it all got started around 11 years ago. I had horribly itchy skin on my hands, and I finally um, figured out that it was food preservatives and additives that were causing my skin to itch so badly it would literally wake me up at night. And I was on steroid creams, and none of that was helping. Once I started taking those products out of our food, it helped so much. I started researching, I started Googling every ingredient that wasn't like a normal whole food. And that's when I really learned like why they're putting all of this into our food and how basically unnecessary it is. And so we started like taking that out of our family's diet and exploring like what to do instead, what's the better thing. And then it evolved into household cleaners and, getting into essential oils or homeopathy or herbalism. I've always had a niche for plants since I was really little. So herbalism is kind of where I think my whole journey kind of took me to. And that's kind of where I'm resting right now, but always learning and always just kind of educating myself and trying to teach my family and others how to help them.
What I really like about Jessica's story is she took that initiative to be to study and to figure it out for herself and for her family. And all she needed was to click around on the internet, to look up some books, to dig into those resources, and it really snowballed into a lot more. And now you have a lot of homemade products. And I know that anybody here in this group that knows Jessica, she's a great resource for us locally. If anybody is not local, please feel free to use this video here to get to know her better and to reach out to her outside of this as well. So Jessica, what are a few foundational tips of how you care for yourself and your family?
The biggest one is to kind of take a step back to how we should be eating. So like I work hard with my family on, trying to eat more whole foods. And each person is so different. Like what works for one of my kids doesn't work for another of my kids. I have some kids who can not tolerate dairy or gluten or whatever. And so each person is so different, and to like listen to your body and understand like what you need. And one kid might struggle with stress, or I might struggle with stress, and to just kind of listen to my body and what it's telling me and figure out how to live in a better way and to treat my body with respect and as something that God created that I should take care of well. So we just kind of try to eat more naturally, as minimally processed food as possible. Obviously, it's hard in this world. And so we kind of try to live for like the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time we're eating more naturally, and at home I can control that more, and then allowing for some outside of the home and normal life stuff. And then as well, just it evolves into like cleaners and like what are we putting in our homes, what's touching our bodies, what are we inhaling, what are we, all of that stuff really affects, and just kind of trying to eliminate a lot of that and teaching my kids why it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's key, I think, is having those foundational values at home and teaching those valuable lessons to your kids as they're under your roof, because someday they're going to launch the nest and you're going to want them to be knowledgeable and make those wise choices on their own, or even to see that you eat healthy when you're at home, and when you go out and there's a potluck or whatever, something special at school, and they get food that they aren't used to, they can feel the difference.
Yes, they do. They know.
Yeah, but it is good to know that it doesn't have to be. I know some people, they're called purists, right? Where it's like you have to 100% like never mess up, and I don't think that's completely realistic, especially like you were kind of referencing with our food supply. You do the best you can and make the best choices you can. So, what are some products you would like to highlight with our group?
Yeah, so I just brought like a small sampling of some teas, some salves. I make elderberry syrup kits. I make something called fire cider. Um, and I make some tinctures, although I don't do a lot of that necessarily as far as on the market and whatever. But one tea that I wanted to highlight today is called nettle tea. As we're heading into spring with like the snow disappearing and underneath that snow is called snow mold, and a lot of people don't understand sometimes that that can be like there's nothing growing, there's nothing blooming, but they can still be having allergies even right now because that snow mold is unearthing as it melts, and it can cause people a lot of itchiness or even sometimes like tickles in the throat or whatever. Nettle tea is one of the most amazing. It's like a natural antihistamine. It kind of tells the body to take a chill pill, calm down. And so all throughout the spring, I all the time get people coming to me, what can I do? And I'm always like, drink nettle tea. I had a boss who didn't appreciate some of the more natural things in life. And I brought him a cup of nettle tea every day, and he's like, "Man, this stuff actually works." And actually, the next couple of years, he hasn't struggled with allergies either. So, yeah.
Well, and then there's a story of me coming over to your
Yes.
home and visiting, and you have pets, and I'm allergic to pets. But Jessica's house was an escape for me one day, and came over and was talking with her in her home, and I was starting to get sneezy and itchy eyes, and she gave me some nettle tea, and my symptoms started to go away, and I was highly impressed. So I'm a big believer. We're
Which
sipping
we're
on some
drinking it
now.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
So yeah. The other thing, like coming into summer, healing salve. This is amazing. We use it for bug bites, for cuts, for scrapes, for sunburns. It's literally kind of just a all around useful product. Use it. I use it as a lotion now because I can't handle a lot of commercial lotions. So it's my basic lotion that I use all around the house. And then I've also had a lot of people lately struggling with arthritis, and this comfrey salve has been huge for that, or broken bones, or sore, like old injuries. Um, People will be like, "Oh my goodness, like my knee doesn't hurt anymore. I've been putting it on for like a week, and it's all better." And so, comfrey salve is amazing too. So those are just kind of key things for this season. I tend to in the fall and in the winter do more with like elderberry syrup and fire cider and stuff. But there's different seasons where we need different things. So
Yeah, and we plan to have her back in those seasons so she
yeah,
can teach us some
sure.
more.
Yeah.
So, as in all of our interviews, we really like to just ask, what are some verses that you go to that are comforting for you, that our audience can cling to?
Yeah. So my favorite, I would say, like life verse is Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And I like that because I don't understand why he's allowing certain things or what, this path is going to lead to, but I can trust him and trust that he's good. The other verses that I just love because I'm a nerdy herb plant person. I love John chapter, I think it's 14 or 15. Basically the beginning 1 through 8, and it talks about abiding in him with the analogy of vines and branches, and sometimes that pruning is very painful, but seeing the fruit and just working with plants a lot, those verses really resonate with me because I have to prune a lot of plants or I have to do a lot of things to plants that sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to cut that off or I don't want to do this, but I see the fruit of it later. And so, yeah, just I love the analogies of plants and gardening in that versus that passage is very cool.
That's good. Every time I read them, I think of you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very appropriate for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do one-on-one coaching sessions, and how do people find your products?
Yeah, I don't necessarily do coaching per se, but I have people all the time that will call me, text me, email me, whatever, and ask for my advice or my help or whatever. It's often like, hey, I'm struggling with this or my kid's struggling with this. What can I do? And so I love to help people that way, give them ideas. Um, Sometimes it's a lot of like, oh, do you have garlic in your house? Take one of these now, or just simple remedies. It's not always just about selling my stuff, but I do also like have a lot of people that if they need stuff, they call me or text me. I don't really have an online website yet. It's something I'm looking forward to maybe in the next year to try and get online. But yeah, my phone number is 218-368-7441, and I'm happy to take calls or texts. Yeah, so that's how you can get a hold of me. I just recently started the SunMade Herbal business in the last couple of years, just mostly selling at craft shows and to local people. But it's a fun adventure that I've kind of picked up. So
That's great. Yeah. Well, I know she's been a great resource for our community, and I just want to extend that here to the Canary community as well. So, thank you so much for your time today. I'm glad you joined us.
yeah, thanks for having me.